Okay, so Insomniac Games released Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5, and it's been all people are talking about when it comes to the PS5. A lot of mixed opinions. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it just okay? A lot of people, you don't get it. It's the fights online, as people do. But it got my gears turning. I was wondering what inspired this game. And of course, it's the Arkham Batman game. So, I've talked a lot recently about the Spider-Man 2 games and all the Spider-Man games from Insomniac. And I wanted to touch on the Arkham games a little bit. Because I feel like those are not getting talked about as much anymore. There was a little buzz about it because of the remakes, not the remakes, but the game being for sale on the Nintendo Switch console. People being upset because it said that it was going to be a physical release for the three main ones, minus Origin, so you have Asylum, City, and Night. When it turns out it's only a physical release for Arkham Asylum, and you had to use a code to download City and Night digitally. So there was talk about that. There was talk about why does no one care about Origins anymore. So a lot of buzz about this game back then, but not so much anymore. So I wanted to kind of re-bring it up because this question remains. Because though people aren't talking about it so much, at least what I'm seeing and what a lot of people are seeing, the fan base for this game is actually incredible. And it's so crazy how big and how they would just take their swords out and take anyone who speaks bad about this game franchise down. So, is this the best game franchise? Are the Batman Arkham games the best game franchise? So I wanted to talk about that just a little bit, and also other stuff pertaining to Arkham. Okay? So, it has 4 main games. 3 were created by Rocksteady Studios. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and then Arkham Knight. And then between City and Night, Origins was released, and that was produced by Warner Brothers Studios. So it was not made by Rocksteady, but is still in the same universe, and it acts as a prequel to the later 3 games, so it comes before Asylum. That one is kind of the runt of the litter, kind of the black goose, or black duck, black sheep. It's a lot of black. People, personally, I like it. People are upset because, it was an ongoing joke that they'll just bring back the Joker for every single game, no matter what. And, spoiler alert, they brought back the Joker for this game. So, people, were kind of annoyed. But what are you gonna do? I think it's a good game. I don't think that it should be casted aside. And, I like Nintendo, but I'm sure Nintendo, it wasn't their fault, but releasing the games on the Nintendo Switch, Origins should have been included. Because Origin completes it, it gives a lot of backstory, it tells us a lot about the character of Batman and the character of Bruce, and it tells us, gives us that, what we know about the relationship between Batman and the Joker, their back and forth. It gives us the prelude to a lot of characters and a lot of storylines that we see. So I think Origins has a lot of good stuff within it. It's just kind of been casted aside. Not totally forgotten, but just not held to the same standard as the later 3 games in the timeline, not release order. But we're not here to just talk about Origins. We're here to talk about the series as a whole and what has it done for the character of Batman, the DC universe with characters, the DC company, Warner Brother Games, Rocksteady Studios, the Batman character, the video game industry. What has this game done? Okay? One thing that it's 100% done is superhero games. You know, it wasn't the first superhero game ever, but it definitely had a huge impact on the superhero game franchise industry. It really made that like just a staple of video games. Really made superhero games their own genre, and just like super cool, and like see, superhero games aren't just button mashy. They can have a cool story, and they can be, you know, fun and dark and have real emotion and character development. So we saw that as a huge plus of the Arkham games universe. That is, you know, without a doubt something it has done. Also, it really, you know, the fighting mechanics and the gadgets and the combos, you know, of course, most of the things that it did, you know, it didn't create. It wasn't like the first people ever to do it, but it really like changed it and just changed it for the better 100%. It 100% changed it for the better. And combos and the fighting mechanics and the gadgets are part of it. And earlier I started the video talking about how, you know, the Spider-Man game by Insomniac has been inspired by the Batman Arkham games. And with the gadgets and the combos, you can see that clearly. Clearly, it was inspired by the Arkham games. So I think it's a good thing. It's a good mechanic, and it's fun, and it's engaging. And thanks Batman. Thanks Arkham for making that a good main staple. So, making superhero games a more profound genre, and, you know, pushing forward this style of fighting and combos. It did that, and it also had just such a interesting story in it. And it really made these originally wacky characters, you know, comic book characters, like this guy who has a possessed puppet, or some crazy guy who wears a purple suit and clown makeup, this other guy who dresses up as a bat, this fat guy who wobbles, this guy who, I don't know, just says riddles all the time, and that's his thing. You know, they're wacky ideas, but somehow they expanded that further. And what a lot of, and you can kind of, you know, I don't want to always, you know, bring up my grievances with the MCU, but this is kind of what they're doing. Now, you have these comic book characters that have, you know, their basic, like, personality, like, oh, let's just say, oh, Joker, he's crazy and he has, like, a bunch of gimmicks. Oh, Batman, he's really serious. The Riddler says riddles, like, stuff like that. And instead of just, like, leaning in heavy and just, like, oh, that's their only personality trait, we're gonna have everything revolve around that, they brought in the scope and made it more interesting and more engaging and more real. It felt real, even though these are, you know, superheroes and supervillains going around a fictional city, you know, fighting each other. It felt like these are like actual characters. They have real personalities, and they have these story arcs, and I want to learn more about them. And I want to interact with them, you know?